Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm going to be making spicy fried chicken and fresh cornbread. I'm going to be doing almost everything from scratch, and as a bonus, I'm going to teach you kind of how to think about wine pairing and some different options you can take. All right, let's get started.
I like my fried chicken a little bit spicy, so I'm going to make a fresh chile puree with chile guajillo and chile de Arbol.
First, I'm going to want to de-stem and de-seed my chiles. I like to make a little cut and then a little cut down the middle. Split it open. Once you've removed all your seeds and stems from your chiles, you're ready to toast them. You're not going to want to walk away because they burn really quickly and your nose will let you know when they're ready. As soon as the aromatics release, add water and let them sit for about 10 to 15 minutes and they'll rehydrate. All right, we have our rehydrated chiles ready to blend. I don't like to use the water that the chili is rehydrated in. It can add a bitter flavor to the puree, so I'm going to do a little bit of fresh water. Let's rock and roll. Turn up. All right. I'm going to put this in a mason jar and save it for later.
Now that my chili puree is finished, I'm ready to begin assembling my marinade. I'm going to use buttermilk, the chili puree, and pepperoncini juice.
If a couple fall in there, it's no big deal. Kind of looks like an Arnold Palmer. Unfortunately, we're going to have to destroy these beautiful layers, and I'm going to mix this with my bare hand because I'm sick. Honestly, in a really strange way, this marinade smells awesome. I can smell more than anything the pepperoncini juice, but also those chiles, the buttermilk. Kind of has like a tangy dairy smell to it. This is going to be some juicy chicken, I'll tell you what. All right, I think that's good. I covered the top with plastic. We're going to let this sit overnight.
While our chicken is marinating, I'm going to get started on the cornbread. I wanted to make the cornmeal from scratch.
All right, so I'm making cornmeal from scratch. I've never done this before. Hoping that this just blend. See how it goes. God, that is so loud. Holy shit. It's not even really halfway done. All right, onward. All right, something, huh? Beautiful. Let's see what we're working with here, huh? Making a mess, making a mess. You know what? I don't need you anymore. Get out of my way. Wow, this is oddly therapeutic. Cornmeal. It's amazing. So I have my dry ingredients, which is flour, cornmeal, baking powder, baking soda, salt, and brown sugar. And I have my wet ingredients, which are egg, buttermilk, honey, and melted butter. So I'm going to combine the two and whisk them together. Never made cornbread before. I'm very proud of my cornmeal. It smells kind of good. It smells how I would imagine cornbread batter would smell. I have a piping hot skillet. It's been warming up. Some melted butter. Oh, yeah. It smells great. So let's just do a little bit of this now. It's probably a little bit too thick, but we're rolling with it. Oh. This could probably use a little bit more buttermilk, but I'm committed now.
Now that our cornbread is going to be in the oven, I'm going to get started on frying the chicken.
Okay, so we have our marinated chicken. It's been sitting overnight. Our coating, I'm going to double coat it, so I'm going to go coating, buttermilk, coating, tray.
Now I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, but you'll see later on, the coating doesn't exactly work out the way I wanted it to. I don't usually double coat, but I wanted to go for it this time. Feel free to leave any advice in a comment below.
All right, so the oil is piping hot. Chicken is battered. Fry these birds. This is probably one bird.
This is the part of the video where things take a turn for the worse. The oil was much hotter than I anticipated.
She's crackling.
At this point, I'm still unsure of how hot the oil is, so I decided to put a second piece in, hoping maybe it would cool it down. I noticed that wasn't working when the chicken was turning black, so I decided to take it out of the oil. Lesson here, use a thermometer.
Okay, I almost burnt the house down with the oil being way too hot. I burnt the chicken and then I finished it in the oven. I don't have a meat thermometer, so I have no idea if it's done or not, but we're gonna find out the old-fashioned way. I almost killed myself with the grease fire. That wasn't enough, so salmonella will do the trick. This is actually just gonna come right out. Interesting. Oddly enough, the batter tastes pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, this chicken is fire too. I wish the batter would have stayed on the chicken. Mistakes were made. Not exactly a professional with fried chicken, clearly. It's super juicy though, and you definitely can taste the chilies. This is actually really good chicken. This was almost really good. The batter is great. It's just up. So with the chicken, I wanted to do some wine pairing. So I did a sparkling wine here. Jacqueline Leonne from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Not exactly known for its sparkling wine, but it's done in the method of champagne. So it's gonna be aged on lees, which is dead yeast. So it's gonna have that brioche. It should have that brioche note to it. The only thing to think about though is alcohol makes spicy food spicier, and so does carbonation. So if your guests or whoever you're eating with doesn't really like spicy food, this might not be the best option. But if they do like spicy food, this will blow their mind. You're more likely to die from a champagne cork than an airplane crash. I'm just risking it all today. So let's try this. And by the way, stop serving your sparkling wine in champagne flutes. That is pretty much a thing of the past. No somm will recommend it anymore. For a younger champagne, or sparkling wine in this case, it's not technically champagne, you're gonna wanna serve it in a white wine glass because you're gonna wanna let the nose kind of gather at the top of the glass. Whereas in a champagne flute, the aroma basically dies. You don't really get much of it. So with this one, I definitely can smell the green apple, apricot. You definitely have kind of a chalky smell to it, like champagne would. A little bit of that yeast. It smells lovely. It's light. It's got a nice acidity to it, minerality. The brioche is actually not super heavy on this one. To this one, I get more of the tart flavor profile. Now, if your guests are sensitive to spice, I would recommend doing a Riesling. This is an Auslese, which is, it's gonna be pretty sweet. These grapes were very ripe when they were picked. They're lower in alcohol. It's a fun wine to nerd out on. It's very complicated, honestly. It's like everything else German people do. It's really hard to understand. But this is only 8%, and this one is 12.5%. Sweetness, which this wine will be sweet, helps decrease spiciness. And lower alcohol is also gonna help with that spicy food. So if your guests are a little bit sensitive to spicy, this would be a great option. The nose on this one is so much different. So this it doesn't smell as tart. I'm getting more of like a pear right away, and I also get kind of this honey smell as well. Kind of smells syrupy. Even though it's very light, it has complexity to it. I actually like that better with the chicken. If it were me, I'd go with the Riesling. That's actually really good. And the last thing I'm gonna try is my cornbread. It's dense. That's a hit. That was some good cornbread. It's not too sweet. It's dense. A little touch of savory. Alright, thanks for watching.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you have any cooking tips, go ahead and leave them in the comments section.